Alright, let's talk about walls. We see them everywhere. They keep things in, or they keep things out. But every once in a while you come across a wall that does more than that. It tells a story. And there's probably no wall on Earth that tells a bigger, more incredible story than the Great Wall of China. You see it from space, a winding dragon of stone and earth stretched across mountains and deserts. We think we know it. We see the pictures, we hear the legends. But the truth is, what we see is just the surface. This isn't just a pile of rocks stacked up high, it's a masterpiece of engineering, a testament to sheer human will, and the site of one of the longest, dirtiest jobs in history. Most folks look at the Great Wall and see a single, continuous structure, but that's the first secret. It's not one wall, it's a massive, sprawling network of walls, fortresses, watchtowers, natural barriers, all stitched together over centuries. Think of it less like a fence and more like a whole defensive system. The real magic isn't just in its size, but in the genius behind its construction. The ancient engineers who designed this thing were problem solvers of the highest order. They didn't have dynamite or heavy machinery. So why build it in the first place? It's easy to say defense, but it's more complicated than that. Building a wall this big is a massive undertaking. It spanned dynasties and cost countless lives and resources. You don't do that just to keep a few raiders out. This was about control. Emperors needed to unify a vast, fractious land. The wall became a symbol of centralized power. It was a project that brought together people from all corners, soldiers, peasants, convicts, and put them to work on a single, monumental task. The wall wasn't just a physical barrier, it was a psychological one. For the nomadic tribes on the barren steppes, it was awe-inspiring and terrifying. A clear message, don't even think about it. It also sent a message to the Chinese people themselves. It defined the borders of their civilization, separating the orderly, agricultural world from the barbaric chaos beyond. It gave them a sense of shared identity and security. This wasn't just a military project, it was a cultural one. Now for the nuts and bolts, or more accurately, the dirt and rocks. How did they actually build this thing? The secret lies in one of the most brilliant and grimiest aspects of the project, using what's on hand. Mountains, deserts, plains. You can't haul granite blocks for thousands of miles. Sand, gravel, desert plants. In the lowest plateau, they used the fine yellow soil that was everywhere. One of the most common and ingenious techniques was rammed earth. This is a job that is as dirty as it gets. Workers would build a wooden frame, essentially a temporary mold, then dump layers of soil gravel, other local materials. Then came the hard part. They would pound it, layer by layer, with heavy wooden rams, stone rams. Thump, thump, thump all day long. This process compacted the earth, squeezing out air and moisture until it became as hard as concrete. When they got to the Ming Dynasty, the builders upped their game. But the real secret ingredient wasn't the brick, it was the mortar. A wall like this doesn't build itself. It was built on the backs of millions of people. We're talking about soldiers, conscripted peasants, and convicts. For many, being sent to work on the wall was honestly a death sentence. The conditions were brutal, the work was relentless, and the dangers were, constant. They faced scorching summers, freezing winters, and the constant threat of accidents or attacks. These were the unsung heroes of the Great Wall, the people whose names we'll never know, but whose sweat and sacrifice are mixed into every foot of its length. So how did they move all those massive stones and bricks without cranes and trucks? Pure muscle and, simple machines. They used levers, ramps, and pulley systems. For heavy stones, they would slide them on rolling logs or in the winter drag them across iced-over pathways. In some areas, they even used goats and donkeys. It was a logistical nightmare, requiring incredible coordination. And the incredible things people can achieve when they are forced to work together on a job that seems too big for any one person to handle. So, here we are centuries later and the Great Wall is still standing. Why? It's not just one thing. It's the smart design, the use of local materials, the secret ingredient in the mortar, and the sheer quality of the work. The engineers who designed the wall understood things about drainage, foundations, and thermal expansion that were honestly centuries ahead of their time. The defensive features themselves contributed to its longevity. The crenellations and parapets on top weren't just for protecting archers, they also shielded the top of the wall from the worst of the weather, acting like a cap that prevented erosion. Today the Great Wall fascinates us more than ever. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a global icon, and a source of endless mystery. Archaeologists are still making discoveries, finding hidden sections of the wall buried by sand or overgrown by forests. They are using modern technology like ground-penetrating radar and satellite imagery to map out the system in more detail than ever before.